Iguodala up for the layup. Oh, blocked by Jeff. Jordan open. Chicago.
Welcome back, guys, to another episode All in the Mix. This is episode 13 already. Got my guy Romulo Howard with me today. No Tyler today. He's got some personal things going on, but we'll rock out like this. For the people that don't know, Rome played at Cypress College this past year and last year. But to rewind all the way back to the very beginning, who is Rome? Who is Romulo Howard? Where are you from? Tell us about yourself a little bit.
A little bit about me, man. I'm from Long Beach, California. Born and raised Long Beach Memorial. You know what I mean? I'm Panamanian. I'm the oldest. I got 4 sisters. I'm the only boy.
Damn.
Been an athlete since I was about like 5. So, you know, I just been around sports and basketball about pretty much my whole life.
Nice. So, obviously you say you're growing up, born and raised in Long Beach. When did you meet Nigel? Because obviously, for the people that don't know, we're all in the same little friend circle here. So when did you guys meet? Because we all met at different times.
Yeah, Nigel's my guy. I met Nigel. We went to the same middle school, Stanford Middle School, in Long Beach as well. So we kind of just met through basketball. Like one day, like first day of school type. I just see a whole bunch of dudes on the court just hooping at lunch, and I'm like I don't know none of these dudes anyway. So I was like, let me hop on. And one thing led to the next. You know, we just start hooping every day. And then I think we ended up having like a class together or some shit. And then we all end up making one of 2 out of 3 6th graders to make like the middle school basketball team. So
okay, so middle school for you guys was 6th grade?
Yeah, 6th through 8th.
Okay. So before I moved down here, going into 8th grade. When I lived in on the Central Coast, like the Santa Maria area, we had junior high. So like elementary school was like K through 6, and then junior high was 7th and 8th grade, and then high school was obviously 9th through 12. But
yeah, I think only like Long Beach and LA do it like that, because I know when I moved to OC, they do 7th and 8th only too.
Yeah, it was weird because when I moved out here, I finished 7th grade. I was going into 8th grade. I went to McAuliffe over there in Los Alamitos, and they were like, "Yeah, this school is 6th, 7th, and 8th graders." I was like, "Why? Like, do we have a deal with the elementary school or something?" Like, but then they like broke down the whole. I thought middle school and junior high were the same thing, but
yeah.
Anyways, so you said met Nigel in middle school. When did you start playing basketball? I mean, you said you started at 5, right?
Yeah.
So was it kind of like, I don't want to say forced upon you. Was it kind of like pushed to you, like, hey, like watch basketball, play basketball? Was it like by your parents, or did you just happen to be watching a game, or how'd that start?
Basketball, it kind of like I kind of just fell in love with it on my own. But like my dad, he loves basketball as well, so he kind of like pushed me, like give me a little nudge towards it. And so he like we had this thing like at my elementary school, it was like the rap program, like the after school program, right? And they have like a basketball like league or session, so we used to play like games every like Saturday at MLK Park at in Long Beach.
Yeah.
And then like once I started playing there, I was like, I really like this, and I was like, I'm pretty damn good at this shit too. So I was like, shit. So one thing led to the next. I just fell in love with the game. But like, yeah, my dad ended up giving me that little nudge, and I just took it on from there.
Shout out to Pops. He's a good guy right there. So was there any influences early on your game? Any players in particular that you watched that you were fans of? And because this answer could obviously be different too. Did you want to play like somebody? And yeah, so like, did you have somebody that was like, man, I want to play like this guy? But then did you have another serious thought of like, okay, I could really play like this dude?
It would have to be Kobe, man. Everything was Kobe growing up. Diehard Laker fan growing up. That's like the only team we watched growing up. It has to be Kobe. Like I used to go. Like I just go to the park, just pretend to do fadeaways and shit. Just like Kobe. So like he was
The whole 3-2-1 fadeaway.
yeah, exactly. Like he was a big influence on everything, man. That was my guy right there.
That was it. So obviously Kobe was a big influence on me, you, Nigel, obviously, pretty much anybody that grew up in Southern California, really.
Right.
So moving on, you finished up at Stanford Middle School. You decided to attend Millikan. Millikan is where we met, I believe, like very briefly. So I came there my sophomore year, but could you have gone to another high school? Did you want to go to a different high school, or was it always like, okay, like my friends are going to Millikan, I think I'm gonna just go there?
So it was kind of weird how I ended up at Millikan. So throughout like middle school, people would ask me what high school I want to go to. I tell my pops, like, I want to go to Poly. Like what kid from Long Beach doesn't want to go to Poly? Like when they're growing up, because that's like the mecca of all Long Beach sports. So I ended up like our 8th grade basketball season. We had like our middle school championship game at Cabrillo, and we played against Marshall in the championship, and we ended up like losing by like 10 or whatever. And Coach Francis was at the game, and he talked to me after the game, talking about, you know how he talks, I really like your game, son, and stuff like that. And he's
I really like your game, son.
Yeah, exactly. So then one thing led to the next. He just came in contact with me, and then like he was like, I really want you to go here. So once he said that, I was pretty much going to Millikan at that point. My pops like, you're going there. So
made it work, huh?
Yeah.
Obviously, you said you wanted to go to Poly. I mean, like, who didn't want to go to Poly? I know Nigel said he wanted to go to Poly, but like it only made sense to like, okay, let me make a realistic decision and
go where you're wanted.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Don't show up at Poly and be surprised that you're on JV for 3 years, right? So you went to Millikan for 2 years, right?
2 years.
Freshman and sophomore year. How's the basketball scene there? Were you a JV guy? Were you up and down? Because I know Nigel, I'm pretty sure was up and down, but was mostly a JV guy his first year or two.
Yeah.
So how was it for you? Was it the same?
First year, like they were really high on like me, Nigel, and Christian. Like us coming in, like they already knew us, so they were really high on us. So we would always like practice with the varsity guys. I was like on varsity for a little bit of my first freshman year, but then that was a real stacked team my freshman year. So there was no way I was gonna play, and being on JV for my development would have been way better for me anyway. You know what I mean? And for us, JV practices with varsity. So, I was going and getting reps against those guys anyway. So, pretty much my freshman year, I was on JV pretty much. And then my sophomore year, I ended up playing JV as well, I believe. Yeah.
So, I mean, you touched on it a little bit. Emphasize, what it means to, obviously every freshman, their goal is like, oh, I want to play varsity all 4 years. I want to do this. But talk about how important it is to actually get the reps and get the game time in where you'll actually use what you're using in practice, because it's cool to make varsity as a freshman, right? But if you're just going to sit there for 35 games, what are you getting out of that? So do you have any advice for kids or anybody that like is like, oh, I want to be on varsity no matter what? There's nothing wrong with playing JV. Like
I feel like with the new age kids now, they just want varsity 4 years or it's not. I mean, it's cool, but like if you're getting real like a lot of minutes as a freshman on varsity, go ahead, that's all for it. But if you're just in there and you're not getting the reps that you need to develop, there's nothing wrong with playing JV, being the man, averaging 20, whatever, and then getting moved up for playoffs or whatever. So, but the eventual goal is varsity, but getting the reps while you're young in the development, I think that's the best route.
Yeah, I agree. So after 2 years, you decided to move on. You decided to go to Savannah High School in Anaheim.
Mm-hmm.
What made you make that decision? I honestly like don't remember like why you went there. Like I remember Nigel was like, oh yeah, Rome's going to Savannah, and I was like, what the fuck is that? But so kind of talk to us a little bit about like why you made that decision, and obviously it was the best decision for you.
So it was like summer going into junior year. My parents were moving, but my dad was moving. He was moving to Anaheim, and basically like I was like we were getting ready. We play those summer league games, and I was playing. I was coming off the bench like sixth, seventh man. I was getting minutes, but like my junior year comes. It's like the clock's ticking. High school's almost over. Like it's time to eat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So my one thing about my dad, like he's never been like he's not gonna make decisions for me. He's the type of person that, like he's gonna give his input on something and make me like have a choice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he was like, you can either transfer to a school out in OC or like where we live, or you could stay at Milligan. But you're gonna have to take the bus to Milligan all the way from Anaheim. I ain't giving you no ride.
Not trying to do that shit.
So he was like, so I was like, okay. I thought about it, and then I was like, all right, I guess I'm gonna look for a school out in OC. So I just looked for like schools, the best schools closest to my house, and I just happened to find Savannah, and I seen that one of my dudes, Mark Butler, he went there as well. So I hit him up, and one thing led to the next. I was at Savannah.
Ended up at Savannah. So your junior year, you really started to take off over there. But your senior year, Jesus Christ. So your senior year, obviously me and you were both playing in Orange County at the time. So was, I don't really like name dropping, but KZ Okpala, Miami Heat, was at Esperanza. Our guy Randall Walker was at Edison having a hell of a year. There's people all over Orange County going crazy, but you were in the top 5, I believe, in scoring like the whole year, right? So talk to us a little bit about what kind of flipped the switch for you your senior year to just turn into like, like I just got to kill.
After junior year, like coach basically told me like I have the keys. Like I had the keys to everything. Like it was legitimately my team. And the year prior, my junior year, we had a dude, Mark Butler. He averaged about 20. And he scored probably like 500 points, like 550 points or whatever. And then like I talked to some of my dudes, they were like, "Oh, what you gonna do? Like how much you gonna average next year?" I said, "I'm gonna get like 700 points this season." And I was like, around average, I was like about like 25 points a game. And I was like, "I'm gonna do it." They were like, "You think you can do it?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do that shit." So, it was just the mentality, bro. I just knew I just do a lot to win. And then I was like, after like game 5, I was like, "Oh yeah,
easy, huh?
I got this shit." So,
I remember my senior year. I don't even know if you remember this. When I had transferred to Orangewood, I had said something on Twitter about playing in Orange County.
Yeah.
And people were going ballistic because I think I said something along the lines of like calling Orange County soft or something like that. Everybody was giving me hell, which I thought was hilarious. But do you remember? I was trying to get you to come with me your senior year.
Man, yeah. I wish I would have known earlier that you were looking to transfer. Because I mean, in high school, like I don't think we really got close to like once you got to Orangewood. I don't think we really got close. So we weren't close like that. So it's like I wish I would have got you. I would have tried to get you to Savannah for sure. Like me and you duo would have been crazy. And adding one more piece would have been crazy. I wish I'd have known, but
That would be crazy. I mean, I didn't even know I wanted to transfer my senior year until it came up, and then I was like, damn, I'm going to this school, and then I was like, well, damn, let me see what Rome's doing, and you were like, nah, I'm gonna stay here, and I was like, damn, I'm fucked. But
I was already set in stone, bro. I was already set in stone.
So your senior year, you averaged like 25 points. Top 5 in scoring in Orange County All-Star, all the accolades. And then you graduated. You decided to attend Citrus. What made you decide on Citrus? And follow-up question: could you have, or did you want to go somewhere else?
The way I ended at Citrus is kind of like pretty weird. So out of high school, didn't have very much college interest, which I thought was bullshit. I averaged 25 points a game. I was
I
like,
thought it was bullshit too.
I'm like, all right, damn, what's going on here? So I'm like, it's probably the school I went to. I went to Savannah and Anaheim.
Yeah.
No one gets out. So I'm like, it is what it is. So I had like one college hit me up after high school, and it was Cal State LA. And I actually went on a visit over there through because one of our assistant coaches, he was the actual equipment manager at Cal State LA. So he kind of had like the plug with the coach over there. So they called me up, they looked at my film and said they really liked me. I went on a visit, even ran with a couple of their guys. He said they like me. They bring me in their office. They said like, oh yeah, like I really like you, whatever. But they have no scholarship money. They had just signed 4 guards that year. I was like, damn. And then
like, why am I here?
yeah, like okay. So they hit me up and they're like, so have you ever heard of Citrus? I guess that's like their feeder school.
Mm-hmm.
They have a connection with the coach or whatever. And there was like, I was like, nah. And he was like, oh well, I'm gonna hit them up for you. I'm gonna tell them like they need you. And I was like, okay. And then I get a call from the Citrus coach a couple of days later, and then set things up, and I'm over there.
Ended up at Citrus. So your freshman year, you sat out.
Great shirt year.
Yeah. What was that like? So a lot of people don't know about gray shirting. It's always red shirting. Talk to us a little bit about. I really honestly don't know what gray shirting means either. Talk to us a little bit about what that means and like what you can do as a player and what you can't do being a gray shirt.
So as a gray shirt, basically, you're just a part-time student. So you're below 12 units. So your clock doesn't start at all. You're basically just there, just to work. So basically I used it as a development year so my clock wouldn't start. Right. And basically, it's pretty much the same thing as a red shirt, just like you just taking part-time classes, and with financial aid, you get like half the money instead of the full money because you're not taking all your classes. So I just use it as a development year. I had a lot of free time because like you have like half the classes, so you have a lot of time to get in the gym to work out. So you can use it like if you use it to your advantage, you can use it really well because a lot of people just fuck off the gray shirt year, So I used it as the development because I was a real skinny kid coming out of high school. So I just used it as a development year for my body and stuff like that.
Put on some weight. There you go. So after 2 years of Citrus, we all made an executive decision. You and Nigel, we all decided to move on to Cyprus.
Yeah.
We talked about in the last episode how that ended for me. But what kind of made you want to go to Cyprus as well? Because I talked to Nigel about it, and for me and him, it was more so like this is kind of a chance for us to all play together again and for the first time, and to just have fun. So what was it like for you making that decision? Was it easy to leave Citrus and go to Cyprus, or was it kind of a tough move for you?
It wasn't easy. It took like a lot of things. When things didn't work out at Citrus, I kind of just didn't know like where to go. And like I just wanted a fresh start basically somewhere else. And my coach at Citrus, no hard feelings, like he's a great coach. And he told me like, well, I still have love for you. So he's gonna help me get to like the next place I need to go. And he's not just gonna be like, or whatever. So I guess he put the word out or whatever. And I got a call from like Coach Drew within like the next couple weeks or whatever. And then I ended up going to Cyprus, and then it helped. And I think Nigel was on the road like to either if he was gonna leave Elko or not. So I was nudging him to go there as well. And then you too. So I was like, we can make this work.
Yeah. It was fun. It was fun while it lasted.
It was fun while it lasted, for real.
So last year, I know Nigel didn't get to play last year, so you guys didn't get to get on the court much together. So how was last year's season, obviously leading up to COVID, go for you?
Oh, last year's season, that was technically my freshman season. So started off real rocky, didn't play much at the beginning. And then had real spot minutes. And then as season went on, picked up my minutes a lot. It was a real up and down year. I feel like we could have been better than we were. you know. So I just used it as like an experience, you know. That was my first real taste of like college basketball, being on the court after sitting out because I didn't play my first 2 years out. So it was like my first real taste of being back on the court again. But no, yeah, it was pretty good.
So leading up to this year was really weird for everybody that got to get a chance to kind of play. You guys played, I think Nigel said it ended up being 8 games, right?
Yeah.
And out of those 8 games, you guys played the same school like 4 times,
Mhm.
which I think is pretty fucking whack. But
That's crazy.
how were those 8 games for you? Obviously, you know, Nigel said you guys had a lot of chemistry issues. There wasn't a lot of camaraderie because I guess he said you guys only had like just 10 weeks to just kind of figure it out
Hmm.
and get on the court and kind of get to know each other. Obviously, I think he said there was like 11 new people from last year or something like that. So you guys pretty much had a brand new roster coming into this year and not really any time to like bond or get to know each other. But how are those 8 games for you in particular?
Those 8 games, you just learn you have to pick up things fast. Like you brought up, yeah, there were like chemistry issues, like because we really had about maybe 4 good weeks of practice, maybe 3 good weeks of practice before we played our first game. So we had to pick up things quick. And playing for the same team 4 times is rough. Like you kind of basically know what you're gonna do at some point.
Yeah.
But you know, it just felt good to be out there after like a whole year not playing. You know, picking up things fast. You know, we weren't as sharp as we should be on things, but you know, you get through with things like that through time or whatever. But yeah, it was pretty good. Those 8 games. You know, we were just happy to have those 8 games. You know, a lot of
Just
people
be
had
able to
nothing.
get out there. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So obviously that those 8 games didn't count towards any eligibility or any school record or anything, which is good in everybody's case. Um, but I want to talk a little bit about JUCO basketball. JUCO basketball, for the people that don't know, it's not for scrubs. It's
No.
not for the people that are like, oh, I played JV my senior year. Let me play some junior college. You know what I'm saying? So it is not for the weak. It's not for the soft. It's not for the people that take basketball as a hobby. What was JUCO like for you?
Man, JUCO it's not for everybody, and it's the definition of a grind because you're playing basketball. There's no scholarship money, there's no meal plan, there's no housing, there's no nothing. So I really experienced JUCO like straight on, like the real JUCO when I was at Citrus because bro, um I was living in like a 2 bedroom, 2 bath with like 6 dudes, bro.
I remember that.
Bro, so we were like piecing our money up just to pay rent. Like sometimes we're waiting on financial aid money to kick in to just to eat food and stuff. It's a real grind, bro. It's not right. And then plus you got to get to practice, class, and all that, and worry about piecing up rent at the end of the month, bro.
It's crazy because you have to worry about all these real life things, like paying rent, paying your bills,
Mhm.
paying for food, even getting money for gas. And then on top of that, you still got to be a student, you still got to be a basketball player, and you still got to be on top of all the things that you're there for
Yeah.
while maintaining this actual real adult life of paying bills and trying to take care of everything. Which a lot of people kind of just glaze over that because they don't understand, like, especially for the guys that come from out of state or people that like yourself that were from Long Beach. Now you're in Citrus, and I still don't know what city that's in. That shit is far as hell. So it's
Glendora.
Glendora. Yeah. So I mean, going from Long Beach to Glendora, you're not home. So you can't just be like, oh well, I had a bad practice today, I'm gonna just go home. Like, no, you still got to fucking pay the bills. You got to go get food. You got to do all that real life stuff. But that's crazy. And obviously, going to Cyprus was a little bit easier on you, right? So you're kind of closer to home, so you didn't have to worry about as much. Mostly just basketball and school, which is I'm sure made it a lot easier for you.
A lot more better.
So moving on, what is next for Romulo Howard? Are you planning on wanting to play further on at another school? Because I believe you're done with junior college, right? Like you're about to get your AA.
Yeah, academically wise, yeah, I'm done with my JUCO. I'm about to get my A in the spring. But eligibility wise, if I wanted to come back since this year didn't count, I could come back and play. But honestly, I'm probably gonna end up trying to play out another 4 year. Try to you see how the recruiting process goes. Look for walk on opportunities. Yeah, it's nothing. I just been in this JUCO system for a long time. It's been I'm 4 years out. Sometimes you just have to take that step and move on. You can't stay with what's comfortable.
Yeah.
Like staying would be like the more comfortable decision.
Right.
A lot of people want me to stay, but I just said I think I'm gonna just take that next step and try to get to the next level. And if I have to bet on myself, I bet on myself.
There you go.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've been betting on yourself these past 5-6 years, taking different opportunities and making the most of it. So I think knowing your game and knowing you, any school that you decide to go to or walk on at, they need to give you a chance because they won't regret it. But do you have any schools in mind? Because I know obviously we talk a lot. You've gotten into a few schools. Are you looking at any of those at all, or is there any schools that you're like, man, I really think I could play here?
I got into a few schools academically. Good thing that's so because I take care of my things in the classroom. I'm looking at a couple of schools I got to. I think I can walk on there and see, but I'm gonna just talk with my coaches and see what they got for me. And I'm just gonna write this thing out and see how it goes. You know what I mean?
There we go. So that concludes our little segment about Romulo Howard, Cypress College, going to who knows where next. Maybe we could do something on this show for where you're gonna go next. We'll figure
Unsigned.
Yeah, we will figure that out. Romulo Howard is unsigned. I'm gonna hype you up real here. 6'2" guard, lefty, just a bucket. If you're a school that needs somebody that gets it done in the classroom, just somebody that gets buckets out there and is left-handed. I don't know if people are looking for lefties in particular, but hey, we got one for you.
Yes, sir.
But actually, touch on this because you just said you touched on getting it done academically.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't realize that is a huge part of moving on in college sports. Because you could be as good as anybody. You could be averaging 30. You average a 30-point triple-double, but if you got like a 1.5 GPA, like they could go get somebody else who's probably younger, has better grades, and does all that stuff. So touch on a little bit more about how important taking care of your academics is.
Yeah, that's the main. Just like I'm not the best student in the classroom. No way am I the smartest. But you just have to get what needs to be done, so you can move on. There's been countless athletes that's like they're so good they can play at the next level, but they just couldn't get it done academically. So you just don't want to be one of those guys. So you don't want to give a coach a reason not to recruit you.
Right.
You know what I mean? You got to check all the boxes. You're getting it done academically. That's just the number one thing you have to focus on if you're already a good athlete.
I agree. I think getting it done academically is more than half the battle because and getting it done academically doesn't mean you have to have a 4.0 and a 105% in every class. Showing up to class is like half the battle. And then doing homework, if you show up to class and just do your homework, you'll probably pass the class.
Exactly.
I'm not saying that's what people should do, just do the bare minimum, but if you literally just do the bare minimum, you will
have a chance. You have a chance at least.
Yeah. You'll be fine. So that I just wanted to touch on that a little bit because I know people just think that I can score 30 and I'll go to whatever school I want. It don't work like that. So like I said, again, that wraps up our little segment here with Rome. Now I'm going to get into some NBA stuff and then we'll get you out of here because I know you got things to do today. So I'll just hop right into it. We'll start off with some transactions, some news. There was a lot of 10 days going around, a lot of 2-ways, a lot of rest of the season contracts. I'm going to just roll through the 10 days real quick. There's some interesting ones in here. The first one, Yogi Ferrell with the Clippers, got a 10-day. Good look for him. He's bounced around a lot. I thought he was still in Sacramento, but
yeah, he's a pretty good dude. He's been in a lot of places. He's solid
though, for sure. Dante Halls with the Magic. Jared Harper. I don't know who that is. He's on the Knicks. Robert Franks. Again, sorry. he's with the Magic. Anthony Tolliver signed a 10-day with the Philadelphia 76ers.
You still in the league?
I saw him in the game yesterday, and I was like, who is this high sock wearing muff? And I looked, and I was like, oh, my God, Anthony Tolliver.
He's in the league for a minute, bro.
For a minute, bro. And this one guy, let me pull up the pronunciation of his name because I don't want to butcher it, even though I probably still will. He was the big man from Florida State a few years ago. Fiandu Cabagnelli. He was on the Clippers. They traded him to Houston. Houston waived him. He just signed a 10-day with the Cavaliers, which is great for him. Also, in the wake of Jamal Murray tearing his ACL, Austin Rivers signed a 10-day with the Nuggets. I think that's a good look for him. He's not going to fill any shoes of Jamal Murray. I don't think. But he's a good guy to have. He can score. And the last one, the one that I was most hyped about, Mike James signed to the Brooklyn Nets. For people that don't know, Mike James, the leading scorer in the EuroLeague, played for CSKA Moscow. I don't even know what to say. He's under 6 feet. He's just a bucket. If you need to watch some Mike James film, it's mandatory. He's nice.
No, he's a bucket. I didn't know he was in the NBA prior to this.
Yeah, he was on Phoenix, and then he got put out for like Elfrid Payton or something like that.
Oh, that's crazy. I don't know, but I just seen his overseas clips, and that dude is a monster.
Nasty.
Like the way he just creates space and gets his shot off the high floaters. I'd be like, what the
bro, his like Euro step into a hook shot floater.
Yeah, he hit a hook shot in the game against in Brooklyn. Yeah,
Filthy, bro. I do want to say this a little bit about Mike James. He's from Portland, right? So my freshman year when I was up in Oregon, he used to come to our open runs a little bit. And I didn't know who this dude was. They were like, oh, yeah, this guy's in the NBA, blah, blah. And, like, this little dude walks in, like 5'8", 5'9", and I'm like, who is this? Didn't say a word after that. That man was giving us the business, and he's a monster. So
real deal.
Hopefully he can stay in the league. If not, EuroLeague is the second best professional league in the world, so keep doing his thing over there. Some two-way deals. Amita Brima. Signed with the Pacers. I don't know who that is. Miles Powell, who has deserved a spot for a while, signed a two-way with the Knicks. Mm-hmm. Justin Jackson, who's bounced around for a few teams, signed a two-way with the Bucks. Good for him.
Jackson, dang, forgot about him.
Yeah, right. That was like a 6'7" center at UNC. A couple guys got rest of the season deals. Mamadi Diakite signed with the Bucks. O'Shea Brissett signed with the Pacers, and Norvell Pell signed a 2-year deal with the Knicks. Yeah, I think they signed Pell because Mitchell Robinson is still out.
Yeah.
I don't remember what he injured, but I think he's gonna be out for a while.
The Knicks are balling.
I'm gonna get to them in a little bit too because I need to. Moving on, Chris Paul moved to number 5 all-time in assists Friday night, passing Magic Johnson. He's now behind John Stockton, Jason Kidd, Steve Nash, and Mark Jackson. He's now top 5 in assists and steals all-time.
That's a real boy.
Yeah, Chris Paul is as a legend, really. And it's crazy that all this legendary stuff is happening. And like people are kind of just like, like brushing through it. I'm like, this is big time shit.
Oh yeah, that's big time news. But the thing is, people just write him off because he doesn't have that chip.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, I don't know. A couple years ago on the Rockets, remember they just had him. Everybody talking about he's washed. They're like, nah, it's not. He's not washed. It's kind of hard to play alongside James Harden, because they're both ball dominant.
Yeah, two primary ball handlers trying to play on the team is tough.
Yeah. Everywhere Chris Paul goes, I just think he produces.
He turns around whatever team he's on.
Whatever
Last year, nobody expected OKC to be anything. And he almost took them, if not to the playoffs, almost to the playoffs.
No, they went.
Yeah, okay.
They lost to the Rockets, I believe. In game 7, I think.
Yeah. That sounds right. But yeah, Chris Paul is obviously a legend. Give him his flowers while he's still here. He's in year 16. He's like 34, 35 years old. Monster. Moving on, Zion Williamson. gets his 2,000th point in his 79th career game. He's the quickest to do it since Michael Jordan, who did it in 73 games. The other people on this list, I mean, Rick Barry, 79 games. Elgin Baylor, 79 games. David Thompson, 78 games. Michael Jordan, like I said, 73 games. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, George Mikan, 72 games. Oscar Robertson, 66 games. Wilt Chamberlain did it in 53 games.
Every stat with points or with anything he has.
It's fucking ridiculous.
It's not no comparison.
Like, I mean, he was playing against like the milkman and the guys from the post office and shit. So
and Bill Russell.
And Bill Russell.
And Bill Russell.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. Shout out to Zion Williamson. Obviously, he's a once in a lifetime kind of player.
Yeah.
Hopefully, this is just the start of a very long career for him. I would love to see him play for as long as LeBron, or even.
Yeah, if he stays healthy, there's nothing stopping Zion. Honestly.
Also, he his first signature shoe came out the other day, so.
Yeah, I seen that.
I will not be copying, but shout out to Zion Williamson.
With some big man shoes, for real.
Yeah, big man.
Yeah.
I'm cool, bro. I'm cool. Players of the week. We'll start off with a guy that I actually, I am going to start off with a guy that I had last week, and I had him before. Julius Randle, man.
Boy.
Julius Randle on the year, he's averaging 24, 10, and 6. Against the Pelicans, one of his former teams, he had 33, 5, and 10. Against the Hornets, the Hornets, he had 16, 10, and 7. Against the Hawks, he had 40, 11, and 6. And then against Toronto, he had 31 and 10. Julius Randle is on another level right now. I don't know if you saw or anybody else saw, but he talked about after Kobe passed, that kind of like flipped the switch for him to be like, you know what, like let me start being who Julius Randle really is.
Yeah.
And it's scary. It's scary because he's 6'9", 250, 260. He can handle the ball. He can shoot threes. He can get to the cup. He's having a monster year, and he's really carrying that Knicks team.
No, real. For like being on the Knicks can go like either
one or two ways.
Yeah, one or two ways. You can really uplift your career because it's such a big city, or if you're really bad, they're gonna let you know.
Oh yeah, they're gonna drill you into the ground about how terrible you are.
Julius Randle is the problem, man. His outside shot is what really surprised me, that he can really shoot it now, like step back threes. I'm like, what's going on?
And he's so big, but he's so agile. Like, you know what I mean? He's so light on his feet for a guy that
he has a handle too.
Handle is crazy.
Yeah, so it's crazy.
Another guy I want to talk about, who's been getting constant disrespect for the past, like, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 years now. He's averaging a triple-double on the season, 22, 11, and 11. He's now a Washington Wizard, Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook, and this is a crazy stat. I didn't even know it was real. I had to go look at it myself.
Mm-hmm.
In the past 15 games, he's had 13 triple-doubles. In the past 10 games, he's had 9 triple-doubles. So he's just carrying that Wizards team he's trying to wheel them to the playoffs, and it's working. They're sitting right on the cusp of that 10th seed, so they can play in the play-in tournament.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, he's on a tear. Against Detroit, he had 15, 14, and 11. Against OKC, his former team, he had 13, 11, and 17. Against the Warriors, he had 14 points, 20 rebounds, and 10 assists. And then against OKC again, he had 37, 11, and 11. I don't understand the Russell Westbrook disrespect. I never have. I believe there's only been 2 people that have ever averaged the triple-double throughout a season, and it's him and Oscar Robertson. Like, that is quite the time gap there. Like, because Oscar Robertson was like 60s, 70s, and Russell Westbrook is doing this now. So, is he an MVP this year? No, unfortunately, because that Wizards team isn't good enough. But he's still showing everybody, like, yeah, I'm still here. And I think him and Bradley Beal, I didn't know how that was going to work out. I was a little like suspicious on him and Bradley Beal playing together because those are 2 ball dominant guys like we talked about earlier. But talk about Russell Westbrook a little bit, man. He's just an animal.
Russ, I don't know, the disrespect from Russ. It's weird. It's
It
because
doesn't make sense.
it's because of the winning post of KD. Like the way he's went out, it's kind of been bad. But he just produces though. You can't knock the fact that he doesn't produce.
Absolutely.
The numbers are insane. You got to respect it.
Absolutely, and he's obviously one of the most like tenacious people to ever be in the NBA. He's going to go out there and give you 110% every time.
Yeah, he's fierce.
Yeah, fearless. And I don't agree with people hating on him because he hasn't won since he hasn't played with Kevin Durant. He didn't win playing with Kevin Durant. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and he can't control Kevin Durant going to another team and doing whatever. But shout out to Russell Westbrook, man. You're a Hall of Famer in my eyes, and I'm sure in a lot of other people's eyes. So just keep being a beast. Rookie spotlight. I've been struggling with this whole rookie thing like all year. You know, I'm back and forth with LaMelo Ball, and then I'm Anthony Edwards, and then when LaMelo Ball was out, I was like, well, shit, I don't know. Like, you know, so now Anthony Edwards, I mean, he's having a hell of a year. He's picked it up a lot in the past month. Averaging 18, 4, and 3 on the season. Obviously, the Timberwolves are really bad.
I don't understand why though.
I don't understand either because they have a good point guard in D'Angelo Russell. They got a dominant big, Karl-Anthony Towns, and then they got this kid who's a monster too. But I don't know. There's a lot going on with that team, and I believe them and the Houston Rockets were the first teams to get eliminated from playoff contention the other day.
Yeah, like Karl-Anthony Towns, real talented. You know, I don't think. Well, I think I've seen something that D'Lo and Karl-Anthony Towns haven't played like 10 games together or something.
Yeah, they've only played like I think like you said like maybe 10 games together because I think they both like one of them's injured, the other one's not, and it's always somebody's hurt, you know. But
like, if you look at them on paper, like I don't think they're that bad.
No, they're not bad at all on paper. And then you watch them play, and you're like, what is this shit, you know?
They just fired their coach too, didn't they?
They fired their coach, right? And they had a perfectly great assistant coach right there on the bench. And then they hired the assistant from Toronto like the next day, which I thought was really smart thing to do. But now they're owned by Alex Rodriguez, which even makes less sense to me. But
they didn't want us to sell them to go with KG.
I talked about this a couple episodes ago. It really rubbed me the wrong way because I'm like, how do you not give a guy a chance who gave his blood, sweat, and tears and an MVP and a Western Conference Finals to that team? Right. He raised their revenue and their value like this, but you don't want to give the guy a chance. But then you let a baseball player buy the team. I don't want to get too much into that, but Anthony Edwards, man, 23-6-3 against the Clippers, 28-4-3 against the Kings, 23-9-4 against the Jazz. He's picking it up this year.
He's making a case.
He's making a case for Rookie of the Year, though I think LaMelo Ball has done enough, consistent enough to still win, and he's coming back next week. LaMelo Ball will be back next week.
I heard.
Yeah, I heard that this morning. But so I mean, we'll see. Teams on the rise. We talked about it a little bit. The New York Knicks, man. New York Knicks are sitting at the 4th spot in the East right now. If the playoffs started today, they would be playing the Atlanta Hawks with no Trae Young. But I mean, we all know how that would probably go. They're on a 9-game winning streak. They're 34-27, led by Julius Randle. Like I said, RJ Barrett, 17-6-3. He's having a great year. And Derrick Rose, 13-3-4. Those are their 3 guys right now. It's crazy because I look at that Knicks team and I'm like, there's no way this team should be this good. Like, there's no way. But I mean, then you look at the staff. You got Tom Thibodeau running the team. His guys, Derrick Rose, and then Julius Randle, like I said, is on another level, and RJ Barrett's playing out of his mind. So that team is gonna make the playoffs. Finally, for the first time since I think Melo was there.
Yeah.
Which was some years ago.
Like 2013, 2014, something like that.
Yeah, it's been like at least 5 years since they've been in. But yeah, man, shout out to the New York Knicks. And I've said this before, previous episodes, it's one thing to be in the playoffs. It's another thing to be contending for a championship. Mm-hmm. I don't think they're even close to be contending for a championship right now.
They're a couple pieces away.
Yeah, they're a couple pieces away for sure. I mean,
It's a start,
yeah,
definitely a start.
it's a great start. But if they win this first round, right, they're gonna either play Brooklyn or Philly in the second round. So I mean,
Yeah,
it's probably gonna end right there. I mean, I could be wrong. Shit. If the Knicks go on a crazy run, that would be insane. Maybe some people would actually want to play there.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, they have everything else. I mean, they have like the market, the city, like it's New York.
they have everything there.
They have everything. It's
They
just
have it's New York. It's New York City.
yeah,
Like,
they just have it's the garden. So I mean, they just have like the winning pieces now. So I think it's nothing but up for them now.
yeah, facts. I do think one big thing about guys not wanting to be there might be the piece of shit owner, James Dolan. That guy is a total shitbag. But hopefully people end up going to the Knicks. The NBA is better when the Knicks are good. Just like the NBA is
Knicks
better
and Lakers.
when the Lakers are good, when the Knicks are good, everyone's happy. Moving on from that, we want to talk about the awards a little bit. Obviously, we're about 3 weeks away from the end of the year. So I'll get your take on a couple on these. So for Coach of the Year, I got Quinn Snyder from the Jazz, because only because of how the politics go with who's getting the Coach of the Year. It's whoever has the best record. So if it ends up being the Jazz, which it probably will be, I say Quinn Snyder. If not, I would love for Steve Nash to get this award, but I know all hell's gonna break loose if Steve Nash gets the award, because it's like, oh, you got 3 Hall of Famers in your starting lineup. How much coaching do you have to do? That takes a lot of coaching, because those are 2 or 3 very big egos and whatnot to coach. But
Yeah.
Who are you rocking with Coach of the Year?
Coach of the Year, I'm gonna go Tom Thibodeau, to be honest. I think he deserves it, because I don't think no one expected that Knicks team to be any type of good.
I didn't, for sure. I was talking shit about them like 5 episodes ago. I'm like, this team sucks.
Tom Thibodeau, one thing about him, he just plays star players a lot. If you look at, I think I seen not too long ago, I said Julius Randle and RJ Barrett are lead the NBA in minutes.
It's funny that you say that, because I was looking at let me pull it up right now on my phone. I was looking at one of the box scores for one of their last games, and I saw Julius Randle played 47 minutes. And I was like, wait, isn't the game 48 minutes?
Like, bro.
Let me see what game it was, bro. I don't know if it was it was an overtime game. But still, that's what, an extra 5 minutes. So that's out of 53 minutes. He played 47 minutes. And that was against the Pelicans. But I'm looking at his minutes. He's playing 39 minutes, 40 minutes, 40 minutes, 40 minutes. He's averaging 39 minutes a game on the year. And yeah, like you said, he definitely runs his best players like into the ground with going out there and producing. And Tom Thibodeau's not a bad pick at all. That's the first time I believe anybody has ever talked about that on our show. I've always said Quinn Snyder or Monty Williams for Phoenix.
Yeah.
I think Monty Williams deserves some fucking credit and some respect, because he's gotten bounced around the league for no reason, really.
Yeah.
He's a hell of a coach, and the Suns team is on another level too. But Tom Thibodeau got that. That's a great pick right there. I wouldn't be mad at it if he got that award. You can't be mad at that. Rookie of the Year, we talked about it a little bit. I'm still going with LaMelo Ball. I still think that's the consensus. Unless Anthony Edwards goes on an insane run consistently, I think that's his biggest problem, is being consistent, because he'll have games where he's got 25, 25, 25, and then he'll score 4. And I'm like, well, you can't do that and be taken serious for an award. But I mean, are you rocking with LaMelo Ball for this one?
Yeah, LaMelo Ball has it right now. But I mean, like I said, Anthony Edwards, he's made a case since LaMelo Ball has been out. But I think barring injury, like, LaMelo Ball has it.
Yeah, for sure.
So
most improved. I said the same person pretty much all year. And then this guy, Julius Randle, didn't change my mind. So I had Jaylen Brown as most improved.
Yeah.
Now I'm kind of 50-50 Jaylen Brown, Julius Randle. I'm kind of torn between the two. At now, I'm kind of leaning towards Julius Randle because of how he's willed that team to the damn playoffs. So I'm rocking with Julius Randle now. I don't know who's even being considered for that award, but what do you think?
Yeah, I think it has to be Julius Randle. I mean, I feel like the Celtics have been a little bit of a disappointment this year. They're like, I don't know what's wrong with them, but they're just not as good as they should be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think they should be like championship contenders, but like, I don't even think they're in the picture really.
They should have went to the finals last year, if you ask me, but
It's like,
it didn't happen either.
so I think it has to be the Knicks. Julius Randle for sure.
Yeah, I agree. Sixth man of the year. To me, it's only been one person all year that made sense. I can't even think of anybody else. I'm rocking with Jordan Clarkson.
Jordan Clarkson.
He's averaging like 18 off the bench. Just goes in, does nothing but score, which is totally fine with me. Who are you rocking with, six man? Because I mean that's the only person that I could even think of.
Yeah, for real. Like I'm trying to think of another six man right now, and I can't even think of anybody.
Yeah,
right
see,
now.
like you can't even like. I had to like really. I was like, okay, well, obviously answer is Jordan Clarkson, but I was like, let me do some research. So I'm like looking, I'm like, okay, who else could it be? And everything is just like Jordan Clarkson, Jordan Clarkson, Jordan Clarkson. I'm like, all right, well, shit, I guess that's who it's gonna be.
I don't even think like, yeah, no, I can't.
Maybe Norman Powell, but I know he started a lot of games too.
Yeah, he got traded.
He got traded to Portland. I think he started too many games to be considered.
He wasn't starting on the Raptors.
It was Kyle Lowry, Van Vliet, and they had him coming off the bench.
Oh.
Because they start OG.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So yeah, Jordan Clarkson, sixth man of the year. I'm calling it now. Defensive player of the year. This one's always a fun one. Every time we talk about defensive player of the year, I'm sure you know from watching the show. I'm a huge Rudy Gobert fan. No, but seriously, can we make this an award where people who are legitimate defenders? Because look, I don't want to talk shit about somebody too much, even though I do a lot. I say it all the time. I don't want to talk shit about, but I do. How hard is it to be like 7'5", right, and stand at the rim like this? Like, fuck, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because I think of defensive player of the year, like when they were giving it to guys like Kawhi Leonard, who go out there and guard the best player. They sit on the best player. They don't let LeBron win an NBA Finals. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't let the best player score 30, but then, oh, well, he had 5 blocks, so that's cool. Like, I don't give a fuck how many blocks you had. Like, can you actually sit down and defend? Everything I've been reading keeps saying Rudy Gobert, and like, it really pisses me off. Like, because I'm rocking with Ben Simmons.
I feel you, but it's like Rudy Gobert, he's gonna win because he checks all the boxes.
Yeah, but it's like,
like the way the NBA goes, I think they count defensive rebounding too.
Which is cool because I mean it's cool, but like, and Andre Drummond was averaging like 20 rebounds like 2 years ago. Like nobody talked about that shit, you know.
And he gets like blocks, and I think his defensive rating is just super high.
Yeah, defensive rating, and like it's all the numbers that like don't matter when you're actually playing basketball.
All the like advanced analytics and shit.
Yeah, all that stupid shit. But I mean, I'm rocking with Ben Simmons because I've seen him sit down and really defend 1 through 5. He can guard 1 through 5. And if it's not Ben Simmons, I want to give it to Joel Embiid because he's been a monster both sides of the ball. But who do you got for DPOY?
I think Rudy Gobert is gonna win it, but I'm not saying he deserves to, but I think he is gonna win it. They're gonna give it to him.
Yeah, I think they might also for the fact that they're
the Jazz are number 1. Yeah. Like,
yeah. So I mean, shit. If he gets it, that's 3 awards are going to the Jazz. the coach, the sixth man, and defensive player of the year,
That could happen. Yeah.
which is crazy because like Lakers in 4 anyways. Moving on to the MVP. I was rocking with Jokic, man, because Jokic is averaging like a 27, 10, and 10 right now. I feel like he's almost averaging a triple-double, if not a triple-double. But with the loss of Jamal Murray, I think that actually hurts his case to win MVP because they're going to start losing, I think. So I'm going with Embiid now. I think no one else really makes sense to give it to other than one of these two guys. I really wanted Damian Lillard to get it,
Man.
but he got hurt. Trailblazers started losing games, and he kind of fell out of the conversation. So I'm going with Jokic or Embiid. You can't go wrong either way. Those guys are both having monster years, but what are you thinking?
It could really go like these last stretch of games. It could really go either way. It just all depends. I feel like Jokic has it right now. If they continue to like, if he can keep them like, respectable, win games, I think he has it. But if they just continue to fall off, I think Embiid's gonna have that shit.
Yeah,
because Embiid's on a tear right now. It's different.
He's on a tear for sure. Let me ask you this. What do you think about the people saying Steph Curry should be in the conversation for MVP?
Hey, I'm not mad at it. I'm
not mad at it, but I will say this, and I kind of caught myself in it too. Skip Bayless says it all the time. Like, don't be a prisoner of the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he had a great month of April. He averaged like 40 points in April, right? What did he do the rest of the year? You can't focus on 1 month and be like, oh, this dude's the MVP, running away with it. Like, and I'm not saying Steph Curry had a shit year, because he didn't. He played really well considering who he's around right now. They're in that little play-in bubble space, but I don't necessarily agree with saying, oh, Steph Curry should be in the top 3 for MVP voting. That's just the people that are like have only watched the past like 3 weeks of the season, I think. But give us a little bit more your opinion on Steph being in the MVP conversation.
I'm not mad at it because he's trying to like really will his team right now, and and they're not really talented at all.
No.
So I'm not mad at it, but I'm not. He's not gonna win it. I don't think he should win it, but I'm not mad at it. And I think it's dumb when reporters are asking these players like, "Oh, do you feel like you're the MVP?" Like, obviously they're gonna say yes.
Like, why the fuck did you say no? Like,
yeah, like what do you expect me to say? Nah, no.
Yeah, because I saw. So I actually I was watching Rex Chapman's podcast the other day, and Steph Curry was on there. And Rex Chapman was like, like, do you think you're the MVP? And he was like, yeah, but I don't think I'm going to get it. And I was like, I mean, what else did you want him to say? Like, you wanted to be like, nah, like, I think you should give it to so-and-so. Any player that's in that, like, top 10, top 20 player in the league conversation, they're going to say yes if you ask them that question.
Like, I asked James Harden that question not too long ago, too. And he was like, yeah. I think James Harden had a case, too, before he got hurt.
Yeah. Shout out James.
Exactly.
Shout out James. He's hurt too. So the Nets are. I mean, they're still playing really well, but he's hurt right now. Anyways, that wraps up our little award segment. So I have some last couple questions for you. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you might be prepared for these because you see them all the time. What is your basketball Mount Rushmore? And I will clarify what I mean by basketball Mount Rushmore. I don't mean who's the best 1, 2, 3, 4 players of all time. Who do you look at and is like, this guy's the greatest. He influenced the game. He changed the game. He did this. He did that. Hold on. Give me a second. Do I want anything from BJ's?
They call you?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna start that part over. So, basketball Mount Rushmore, Rome. I don't mean who's your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 best players of all time, because that's no fun. So, who do you look at and is like, this is basketball. This guy changed the game. This guy is the best. This guy is the most dominant, whatever.
Okay, no order. There's no order.
Yeah,
So
no order, no. And if you want, you can have an honorable mention, so you could have like 5 in there.
it's only 4, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna get Kobe off the rip.
Yep.
Jordan, LeBron, and I'm gonna go Magic.
Do you have an honorable mention? There's somebody else that could be in there?
My honorable mention. Who else is an influence? I'm gonna go like
Steph, AI, shit, people like that. KD, maybe. I don't know.
my honorable mention probably is like AI.
Yeah, for sure.
That was an icon for sure.
I think it was Nigel that made me change my answer last week, because I had Kobe and Mike, and then he was like, well, like those guys are kind of like the same player, so I wanted to pick somebody else. And I was like, oh shit, let me change mine, So mine, I went off like people that I watched and people that I'm fans of. So I said Kobe, AI, Shaq, and I think I said Steph was the other one, or it might have been LeBron, one of those two. But
Yeah.
Moving on, you +4 go to any court in the world and you're not losing. It could be NBA players, it could be and one street ball, it could be the Globetrotter, any 4. Could be your boys. I know Nigel said he would take Luis and some other people. So give me you plus your other 4.
That's 4. Me plus at the park. Me plus Kobe, LeBron, Steph, and KD. We're not losing.
That's a lot of buckets right there. That's
Nah.
a lot of buckets. I think the only difference I had substituted KD for Shaq, just because I was like, if all else fails, just throw that motherfucker in there.
I feel like it's open run. Motherfuckers out there shooting threes, man. It's like
big ass running up and down, everybody trying to catch threes. Another one, who is coming out of the East, who's coming out of the West, and who's winning that finals matchup?
Man, I think it's Brooklyn Lakers finals matchup.
There we go.
I'm going Lakers every single time.
Lakers in
Lakers in 4.
Lakers in 4.
No, I'm kidding. But I'll take I think that's gonna be a good series. That's going 6 to 7 for sure.
That might be, if everybody stays healthy, that one's gonna be one for the books for sure. That's gonna be a crazy
6 or 7.
Yeah. Moving away from basketball, what are you watching right now? What are you listening to? Put us on. If there's any shows you're watching any music, let us know.
Show right now, Snowfall. I don't know if you watch Snowfall.
Of course.
Snowfall, best show on TV right now.
Fire.
What else I watch? Watch a lot of things. I watch All American, Riverdale.
Fire.
I watch anime too. Attack on Titan, Dragon Ball Z, stuff like that.
Yeah.
There you go. Music, rocking with that Herbo. Rocking with that Herbo. Baby, my favorite artist all time, Lil Wayne, Drake. I'm out there. I dabble in a little bit of everything.
So last question for you before I do my little outro. Is there anything or anybody you want to give a special shout out to, give a special thanks to? This is your 10, 15 seconds, whatever it is. Tom, talk your shit and just let the people know what's up.
Nah, man. I just want to shout out my parents. They've helped raise me or whatever like that. Shout out all the homies. Quinn, Nigel, Keith, DD Varel, shout them out. You know what I mean? That's it, man.
There we go. Thank you, Rome, for coming on the show, man. I really appreciate it. This one we've been waiting on. Everybody's schedules are all screwed up, so we get this one in when we can. So thank you guys tuning in to another episode of All in the Mix. This is episode 13. Crazy. Next week for episode 14, we'll be having owner and founder of Crisp Boulevard, a Bay Area clothing brand. The owner's name is Jade DK. Funny story, I'm seeing his brand on TikTok, and I hit him up and I was like, yo, I need these shirts. Sent them out to me. I got them yesterday, finally. So he's going to be on to talk about his brand, his hoop life too, and to just give everybody, and we're going to put him on a little spotlight a little bit, give his brand a little shout out. So shout out to Chris Boulevard, shout out to Jade. So looking forward to that one.
I said, don't forget to like, comment.